I just finished a fully automated lead generation system that I'm convinced can actually produce better results than a human SDR. In fact, I recently implemented a system like this with a real estate founder who saw a 5x increase in reply rates just in a week of using the system, thanks to scaled personalization using AI. The reason I say that this could potentially do a better job than a human SDR is because in my experience of having sold software for about 10 years, sales development reps rarely do research before reaching out to prospects. They're also generally quite inconsistent in the volume and quality of their outreach. Now, this is in no way to bash SDRs. Sales is truly one of the most difficult jobs on the planet, and it takes a truly elite individual to be methodical enough to find success in a role like that. Now, thanks to advances in technology, early stage founders and others starting to think about scaling their go-to-market motion can achieve consistent lead flow before hiring a single rep. My clients and I generally target about 15 qualified leads per month just using automation and AI. Hey, if you don't know me yet, my name's Josh Martin. I run an agency called AI West, where we help early stage founders completely transform their go-to-market motion using AI and automation systems. If you're interested in building something like this or have another idea of something you'd like to build, feel free to book a free call using the link below. So the system we're talking about today is actually broken up into 7 stages: lead scraping, research, writing, approval, sending, engagement, and analytics. I'll break each one down and show you how they work in practice. So because scraping is complex, we approach it in 3 distinct ways. The first and simplest way is scraping from Apollo using search queries defined by our ICP. Nothing revolutionary there. The second more closely mirrors how an actual SDR would go about finding leads. It's an agent running on GPT 4.1, equipped with Google Search and LinkedIn search tools. When prompted, this agent will find however many leads you request that fit your ICP. The third and most unique way this system finds high intent leads to target is using a flow I actually call Signal Monitor. Now, this would be highly customized depending on your use case, but in my case, I have it regularly monitor several Reddit threads where startup leaders hang out, Hacker News, LinkedIn posts that mention specific keywords I'm interested in, and then the scraper actually grabs comments from those posts and scans them for intent signals as well. The results are then sent to an LLM where they're sorted for relevance and then sent to me in an easy to digest Slack message like this one. So you can actually see this one was found on Hacker News, Signal Summary, early stage product launch with low initial traction, seeking feedback from potential users. So essentially just a tech founder struggling with go-to-market. It's exactly my ICP. I can, at this point, just reach out to this person on Hacker News or add them to a cadence. So the leads gathered by these 3 agents are then stored in an Airtable database and handed off to a team of research agents. The team of researcher agents then assess first if the lead is qualified, if it's demonstrated any intent online. Then the researcher gathers a little more information around the specific intent signals by scraping Twitter, LinkedIn posts, and transcribing podcasts from YouTube. It even gathers key quotes to be used later in outreach. Finally, the enrichment agent basically looks at the lead record for any missing information, whether that be an email address or a Twitter handle or anything that's missing, and it will input those values and then send it out to the database. So if we look at the output of one of these research agents, pretty detailed stuff here. We've got like some background on the founder, some of his like new strategic initiatives, emphasis on growth and hiring right now. And then of course, like some actual quotes. So the Churn FM podcast, he said, hiring, keeping the hiring bar high is our biggest priority right now. And then product velocity requires like more on the post sales front. So a lot of great stuff we can use for like more strategic and targeted outreach there. So these cherry picked leads are put into an actual outreach database, which I call Master Leads Tracker, and sent to my message writing agent. This agent uses templatized message prompts. So it's not a fully original message. It has specific templates within it. And then the agent actually inputs the personalized sections. We're using Claude Opus 4 here, which is the very best LLM model for writing. And here's what a raw email actually might look like. Hi, Rusty. Noticed Real Work is focused on turning completed jobs into marketing opportunities for home services business. I'm curious, has scaling personalized customer engagement and referral systems been creating friction in your growth? I'm working with a small group of early stage founders, et cetera, into my value proposition. So from here, I get a Slack alert every morning that lets me know if there are messages awaiting my approval. And I'm actually going to use Claude to review and make changes to these messages. So Claude's connected to Airtable via MCP. So any changes that we make are going to go directly to that database, and the record's going to be marked as approved. So I'm going to open up message approvals, and I'm just going to give it any kind of prompt. So you can see it already knows what to do. It's going to query the database and try to find any records that are not currently marked as approved. It's pulling up the first one here. It's going to give me a little background on the prospect, and then it's going to actually run through all the messages that are in the database that have been written by that prior step. You can see we've got all of our emails here. There's a couple of feedback recommended improvements here from Claude. I can just say, show me a version that's more conversational, and just see what it does. Yeah, see, it just made everything a little bit more kind of informal. I can just keep tweaking these to get them, exactly how I want them. I like the snarky tone on some of these. It's pretty nice. Make changes and approve. And Claude's now updating the database. So if I toggle over to Mikey Murphy is the one we were working on. He's approved. And the next touch date's been updated as well. And then it's going to move on to the next prospect. So the send step is very similar to what you'd see in any email outreach software, with an option to add LinkedIn and voicemail drop steps as well. There's random wait times added to each step as well to kind of build in that sort of human-like touch so you don't get flagged as spam. And then there's an inbox warmer as well to just keep your inbox warm, keep your sendability intact. But as you can see, we've just got different cadence step flows here. So it's going to just keep pulling leads in as they move down the chain into different steps of the cadence. It's going to check if anybody replied. Then we can actually see what one of these emails looks like. This is an example of one of these cadences. You can see it's like pretty similar to what any other cadence would look like. I've got these emails formatted just the way I want them, and it just looks like a pretty, standard email. So from here, as we're sending out emails and messages to folks, we actually have an engagement agent monitoring your inbox that intelligently answers questions, handles objections, and books meetings. So in my case, I just named it Assistant. Obviously, this could be like an SDR persona or whatever you want to give it. But basically, I'm interested. Tell me more about what you offer. It can just answer simple questions. Can you give me a sense of pricing? Sure. Gives you the pricing update. The prospect throws out an objection. I get it. The numbers can feel steep at first glance, but here's the thing. When you break it down, you're looking at AI automations that would replace what a full-time person would normally do. So it really handled an objection pretty well there. And then when the prospect is ready to chat, it's going to send out the calendar invite, or it can even just go in and actually book the meeting on my calendar for me. So basically like a full cycle SDR. And this SDR actually, before it answers any questions, anytime it gets an email, it's going to pull up the CRM record of the prospect. It's going to pull up the complete conversation history, and it's going to pull up my knowledge base. So it has full context before it even speaks to a prospect on sort of who this person is, what the past engagement's been, and any knowledge questions it needs to answer. So last but not least, we have agents keeping track of replies, meetings booked, and the cost to run the entire system. And all of that's going into my reporting channel in Slack. So here in reporting, these are just my daily estimates of what I'm spending on these different platforms to run this entire system. And then it's going to give me monthly estimates as well. So I like everything in Slack. Obviously this could be pushed into a Looker dashboard or anything like that, but we have full tracking on all campaigns, presented in a really nice, kind of easy to digest format. And ultimately what this is going to do is just drive qualified prospects to book meetings on our calendar without us having to do a lot of work. And I truly think, these repetitive jobs are just going to keep getting more and more automated moving forward as LLMs get smarter and more capable of starting great conversations. So thanks for watching the whole way through. If you have any questions or want to get started building something like this, please don't hesitate to reach out. See you next time.